Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, on a pretty good night of boxing, main fight to me that stood out is the incredible Savannah Marshall, undefeated WBO, I think, champion in the middleweight or super middleweight division. Savannah Marshall is all that and a bag of chips. All the other fights that's going on. I mean, Huey Fury fought Christian Hammer, the guy that Tyson Fury cheated with the gloves. That's where you probably know Christian Hammer from. And I think he stopped him. Chris Eubanks stopped somebody. His opponent was, canceled a few times or postponed with that one, or, had to get out of the fight. I forgot why. So Chris Eubanks was fighting a lesser opponent. He stopped him. I don't know when. I haven't watched him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to get to the Mikey Garcia fight, right? I know what happened already, but I'm going to still watch it, so I ain't going to say nothing about it until I've watched that. But the main thing to me is Savannah Marshall. I remember last time she was fighting, a whole lot of other people was fighting. Matter of fact, she wasn't even in the headline. And for me, it was Savannah Marshall. Matter of fact, it was Nigel Benn's son, Konar Ben, was fighting. But didn't even care. It's Savannah Marshall. People, if you haven't watched Savannah Marshall, you should. You just should. And now, I'm going to put videos up in the information and just go on there. I've talked about Savannah Marshall 2 or 3 times. And when I first saw her, I have that up in the information too. Go watch that video for how. Like I just said, as a spoiler alert, I haven't been blown away by someone, a woman, since Stranger Things 11. Love 11. It blew me away. I watched Stranger Things the whole three seasons. 3 times now? It just blows me away. 11 blew me away. And Savannah Marshall she blows you the hell away, right? And to the point of Savannah Marshall versus Claressa Shields is for me like one of the, I don't know how many fights I want to see more than that. I really did. I'd probably Terrence Crawford against Pacquiao maybe. Not even Terrence Crawford and Spence for me. It's like on the same level. Like Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua back when it meant something. Maybe. But Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall is for me extremely must-see TV. So those who only know Claressa Shields, and this is the girl who beat Claressa Shields in the amateurs. If you watch just 2 or 3 fights from Savannah Marshall, you're going to say, oh, well, that probably wasn't a fluke then. So anyway, Savannah Marshall stops Lolita Muzeya in the 2nd round. Now, Lolita Muzeya was undefeated and came out there trying to just knock Savannah Marshall's head off. But you could see Savannah Marshall, even though she had to go backwards and show her defense that she has, she was throwing the right punches. Her punch repertoire is impeccable. She has every punch in the book, but those are in other videos. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't seen Savannah Marshall, right? The chick for me is incredible. She's incredibly nuts. I love her demeanor, but those are in some of those videos that are in information. Go watch. There's 2 or 3 videos. One in which I edited, pretty well. It's she's just crazy. So I watched that girl come up forward at Savannah Marshall and saw how Savannah Marshall systematically dismantled her. And everyone wouldn't have been able to do that. Now, Savannah Marshall has said that after that fight, her first fight fighting in front of a home crowd where she has people in her family. And I'm thinking, when I see people fighting in front of the home crowd and families, I start thinking, hey, those are the fights that you're more nervous about. You don't want to make mistakes. It can get embarrassing when you get beat up, stuff like that. So home fights are not, the very best scenario in some cases. But she handled her business in front of her home crowd. And afterwards, she was interviewed. And this is the difference between these two. They want to fight each other. So Claressa Shields was not there, but they connected her so she can say her part before they interviewed Savannah Marshall. And Claressa was saying, hey, well, we're gonna meet soon and you're gonna see how a real champion fights. And Savannah just basically said, listen, Claressa ain't lasting 2 rounds with me. Now, Savannah Marshall is not a smack talker, but she is confident. Don't get it twisted just because she's even keel. She is confident, and she should be. She's impeccably talented. Really, it's ridiculous, and she punches pretty hard. So it's gonna be an issue. But her saying Claressa Shields is not gonna last 2 rounds with her is also banter. Which she said Claressa talks a lot of smack, which she doesn't normally, but she does understand that we want to sell this fight and make it big because it is the biggest fight in women's boxing, and it blows the other ones away, and it gets into the fact of into the point where even men's boxing, there's not many fights that are better and bigger than this fight. It's going to be good. So what they're going to do is then because they both signed for the same promotion company now, so they can fight. This is the difference between you know how we get with the guys. Somebody signed here and somebody signed there, and they stand behind a fence and act like, well, if you was over here, we could fight. You on the other side of the street now, and there's really not no such thing as other side of the street. But that's a reason to say it. Like the promoters can't get together to fight a fight. That's all bullocks for those in England and BS for those who are not. It is. The fighters, when they want to fight, they fight. Period. The promoters have to take a back seat. It is. But when they don't, then they can say that. These girls got for the same promotion company so they can fight. So what they're going to do now is in December, they're going to fight on the same card and be co-main event. Right, so everybody can get hyped about the fight. They'll be calling each other out afterwards and talking smack and leading up, and then they're going to fight. And hopefully they fight twice, because the loser of Claressa Shields versus Savannah Marshall should have a rematch automatically because they're that awesome, both of them. We don't have to talk about Claressa Shields. Claressa Shields is GOAT, greatest woman of all time, or right there at GOAT. Being undisputed in 2 weight divisions. Now, Savannah Marshall's career was a little bit slower taking off, but it's just you obviously see the talent. So what I'm asking you guys to do is, if you haven't seen Savannah Marshall, go back and watch her, watch a few highlights, and get up to speed, because this is a worthy, very worthy opponent of Claressa Shields, and I don't know who wins that fight. Let the best person wins. I'm a Claressa Shields fan, obviously, but definitely a Savannah Marshall fan. And, that's why I don't follow social media and stuff, because I don't want to get to know people because they might say something or be into something that I don't like. So just right now, I just want to, be able to go for who I'm going for and enjoy the fight, right? What I don't like about Savannah Marshall is she's messing around with them Furies, where we know the cheating and the nandrolone has come in and all of that. I don't really like that element. Same thing with Joseph Parker. I roll with Joseph Parker, but I don't like him messing with these Furies, right? But be that as it may, if you take that out of it, this is an awesome fighter. And she's saying that Claressa Shields can't go 2 rounds with her. I think that's putting it, going overboard. But I'm telling you one thing. Claressa Shields ain't definitely beating this woman right here. It's going to be a damn good fight, a worthy fight, and probably the biggest fight of the year if it does, when it happens next year. If the dudes keep acting like they acting, because we don't never see none of the biggest fights. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what happens, y'all. Go watch Savannah Marshall and those info videos I put up there. Go check those out as well. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.